because they saw our train. And the next one is, the 7% is the website. So what that tells us is that almost over 75% of the people that decide to ride our train is because somebody had a good experience, somebody told them about the train, or they saw the train go down the street, or they saw a station. So that's an awareness type situation. And I refer to that more or less as passive revenue, knowing that, okay, if we do a good job servicing the people, if our trains leave on time, if the trains are clean, if the trains arrive on time, people will ride the train because it's dependable. So looking at that, one of the other areas that I have under me is the customer service side. So we're looking at redesigning our customer service rep position, our field service positions out in the field, because I feel it's important coming out of an organization like the Ritz-Carlton where you need to hit 10s, 9's not acceptable, you have to hit a 10. We're taking that same type of attitude. How do we get our service level to exceed the expectation of the clients? We're going to readjust, and we're doing that right now because we feel if we can provide that seamless and exceed the expectations, people are going to tell others, we're going to be able to build a ridership through passive revenue. So you start looking at the rest of it, you got a 6 and a 1 and an 8. I throw the 1 out. I'm going to say, you know what, we'll revisit that. The 8 is basically everything else that is caught in a big net, so we're trying to figure out what exactly it is. But then I got stuck on the 6%. I kept looking at 6% saying, okay, what does that mean? The 6% is, work or school. Most of it is work. So it starts to think, okay, well, you know what we are? We're commuter trained. Everybody knows that. I start looking at it coming out of the travel industry thinking, you know what? We're the Southwest of trains. If we can get a simple business model where we leave on time, arrive on time, have a nice entry point for our price point getting in to buy a ticket, and if we deliver, we're going to really be able to move the commuters. So then I started digging a little bit deeper in the 6% area, the corporate partnership program where we sell the passes to the corporations. I was surprised that I found out that 6% there represents 118 corporations throughout our lines that we have a partnership or relationship with. That 118 partners is equal to about 22 to 25% of our monthly revenue. So it drives about 1.2, 1.4 million of our monthly revenue. So all of a sudden I'm sitting there thinking, you know what, that's an opportunity for us to expand. Because when you start looking at it, 118 companies, it's like, okay, you know what, I knew there's a heck of a lot more in California than that. I know there's a heck of a lot more along our lines than that. So that's the area we decided, you know what, that's going to be our core competency, at least our core target, where we're going to go out and try to engage with them, see if we can, get them to book with us. And later on in this, you're going to see that, our thought process going through this, we were spot on, we really were. So the next page, when you look at it, it's about Wild at Work. And once again, as I mentioned, it is a value-added employee benefit program. At the same time, what it also is, it's an incredible platform for a company to do any type of advertising online. Because you start looking at who they've captured. Wild at Work is the largest network of employee groups in the United States. We have over 27,000 member companies that are engaged with this. Over 11 million eyes are looking at this. Maybe not daily, but throughout the course of time, you got 11 million people that have signed up for this. When you start looking at that, the average, the type of companies, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000s, Fortune 200s, some really well-known companies there. And then when we started looking at this, we asked the question, okay, 27,000 companies part of this network. It doesn't make sense if the company's in New York or Florida. Yeah, you get the exposure out there. Yes, you get them to know who Metrolink is. But we started doing a little bit more digging. What's in California? There are 14,000 companies in California that Wild at Work is engaged with. And when I say engaged, they are companies that have already signed up to the program. So they have what I call that direct distribution sales channel in there. So you look at the 14,000 companies in California and say, okay, our lines run from here to here. Okay, I wonder if we did a certain X around our lines, how many companies? All of a sudden we found out there's 8,000 companies within our area. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get a little bit more greedy. What if we drilled down even deeper and said, okay, what's in our catchment area? 2,000 companies. 2,000 companies around, our area. So you start looking at this, and this is the interesting part. When you look at, you go back and you look at the advertising spend that we put a halt on, $250,000 a year, $20,000 a month, $10,000 per rider. You know, you look at the return on investment, that's terrible. You look at this program here, fully loaded, this program is about $43,000. $43,000. It provides what I am so excited about is that direct sales channel that reaches out to the companies that have already signed up for it. So you start doing the math there. $43,000 every month is about $3,500. Okay, for us to reach 8,000 companies, that's like less than 50 cents a company. And we're touching the companies. It's not an individual, it's a company where they can then spread it through the human resource, the travel coordinator, and really promote it internally. Okay, then you look back and you say, okay, let's forget about the 8,000 companies, and let's just look at the 2,000 companies, it's $1.50. $1.50 to put a whole campaign through a pipe. I mean, to me, it's, you know, the hardest part for sales is doing the research, finding out who to knock on the door and ask if they want to talk to you. These people have accepted this program, they've already opted in, so it's a sales channel. So it's a home run in the sense that we got something built in. It's like going to HBO and having cable in everybody's house and running your own home movie through it. It's there. So when you look at, you know, other things, the average benefits is about 500 employees, you know, per company, so you can, you know, do the math and figure out how many we can reach. So if you go to the next slide, when you look at some of the photographs on here, on top, it's what they call the members, okay? And I encourage everybody, when you get home, go to Wild at Work, and you'll be able to see the websites, you know, and you'll be able to see, the website, the concept of the website. And when you look at the member companies like Sony, Chevron, State Farm, IBM, these are the companies where the HR director or the human resource vice president, the marketing person has already signed up to be able to be part of this program. So they opted into a lot of different email campaigns. Their employees benefit off of the thousands of discounts that they're offering. So this is where it's a free service. If you look below, the sample of the partners, these are the companies that are paying the advertising slots. So we're going to be a partner. And, you know, Disneyland's a partner, Universal's a partner, SeaWorld's a partner. So there's some really strong names in there. So we'll become a partner, or we'll pay X amount, and what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to have our own electronic billboard online to be able to be exposed to 27,000 companies nationwide, but we'll be able to focus on winning some people on our lines. So if you go to the next page, you know, you look at, you know, kind of what I recapped earlier, you know, 118 current partners, about, you know, 25% of Metrolink sales. What our strategy is right now is we want to focus on the 2,000 companies that are along our catchment area. We want to establish a strong email, telemarketing, and direct sales campaign. The thing is, what's nice is we'll be able to send out a blast email telling people, hey, this is what's available, public transportation, you know, this and this. We'll be able to connect with the human resource department. We'll be able to get the air quality management group in there saying, okay, how can we get tax credits and what can we do? Can we work with WageWorks? Can we do a benefit type situation where employee wages are scraped, where they can use tax-free money towards the corporate pass? So it opens up a lot of different opportunities for us. And plus, the biggest thing right now is the awareness. And I go back to where I initially said, being in San Diego, having them call me and said, you know, we want to join Metrolink. What is Metrolink? One of our biggest challenge, I think, right now is the awareness side. It's basically a four-step process, the way I look at it, for getting new customers. One is awareness. You know, how do you get people aware of what we have available? That's not only our train, but that's the last end mile, the bus connectivity, the subways, and everything else. The second thing is, how do you get that driver to try the product? So it's the awareness, having them try the product. And once they try the product, how do you convert them into a customer? Well, you provide great service, they become a customer. And then after that, they become more of an ambassador because they're hooked. They will tell people, you need to ride this, or you need to try this bus system, because they believe in it. It was brought to them, they tried it, and they saw it. So, you know, that's what our goal is. When we start looking at some of the other opportunities that we have with Wild at Work, you know, when you start looking at the benefits that companies get, we want to offer the same type of benefits to our riders. So the 40,000 or the 20,000 people that ride the train round trip, we want them to be able to have the access to go online to be able to sign up for some of the discounts. It's something given back to the rider. Also, the other thing we want to look at is when we're currently doing the corporate pass program at the corporations, We are so behind the times. We're doing a consolidated ticket